When we wake up each morning, our brains are in a unique state, highly plastic, primed to shape the trajectory of our entire day. What you tell yourself in those first moments can literally rewire your neural circuits to optimize focus, resilience, and motivation. Today, I want to guide you through 9 essential affirmations, scientifically grounded statements that you should tell yourself every morning to harness the power of your mind and body. These aren't just feel-good phrases, they are tools to sculpt your neural pathways for sustained success and well-being. I am in control of my thoughts and actions today. This simple statement holds immense power because it acknowledges the fundamental truth about our experience. While we cannot always control external events or other people, we have direct authority over our own minds and behaviors. Taking ownership of your thoughts and actions is the cornerstone of personal empowerment and mental clarity. When you affirm this to yourself each morning, you are reminding your brain that it has the ability to choose how to respond to whatever comes its way. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is not a passive receiver of stimuli, but an active processor that can consciously shift focus, regulate emotions, and initiate intentional behaviors. Understanding that you are in control means recognizing that thoughts are not facts. They are mental events that can be observed, questioned, and redirected. Often, our minds generate automatic thoughts that can be negative or limiting thoughts like "I can't do this" or "this is going to be too hard." When you consciously state that you are in control, you create space to interrupt these automatic patterns. This active interruption is crucial because it allows you to choose more constructive thoughts such as "I will give my best effort" or "I can learn and improve." This ability to redirect your thinking is supported by the brain's neuroplasticity, the capacity to rewire neural pathways through repeated practice. Over time, consistently choosing empowering thoughts strengthens the neural circuits associated with resilience and optimism. Equally important is the control over your actions. Thoughts influence behavior, but ultimately, it is your actions that determine outcomes. By telling yourself you are in control of your actions, you remind yourself that you can decide how to respond to situations, regardless of external pressures or distractions. This is an important distinction because while you cannot always choose the circumstances you face, you can choose your response. This is sometimes called response flexibility, and it is a key skill for emotional regulation and effective decision-making. When you embrace control over your actions, you begin to act with intention rather than react impulsively. This intentionality can manifest as choosing to stay focused on a priority task instead of procrastinating, speaking calmly in a stressful conversation instead of reacting with anger, or maintaining healthy habits even when motivation wanes. Each of these actions reinforces your sense of agency and contributes to building self-trust. Neuroscientifically, the prefrontal cortex, the brain area responsible for executive functions like planning, decision-making, and self-control, becomes more active and efficient when you practice intentional action. This strengthens your capacity to navigate complex situations with clarity and composure. The belief in your control over thoughts and actions can reduce feelings of helplessness and anxiety. When people feel out of control, the brain's stress systems activate, releasing hormones like cortisol that impair cognitive function and increase emotional reactivity. By affirming your control, you help signal to your nervous system that you are in a position to manage challenges effectively, which can lower stress responses and promote a calmer mental state. Importantly, this mindset also encourages accountability. When you accept that your thoughts and actions are within your control, you no longer attribute your outcomes solely to luck, fate, or other people. This accountability can be motivating because it clarifies what is within your power to change. It also supports a growth-oriented perspective where mistakes are seen as feedback rather than failure, and effort is valued as the path to improvement. Finally, when you start your day with the affirmation, "I am in control of my thoughts and actions today," you are priming your brain to operate from a place of strength and clarity. This primes your neural networks for effective attention regulation, emotional balance, and purposeful behavior. The simple act of stating this out loud or silently in the morning engages your brain's intentional control systems and sets a tone for the rest of your day. It becomes a cognitive anchor you can return to whenever you feel overwhelmed or distracted, helping you realign with your purpose and maintain your focus. This foundational belief is not about perfection or rigid control, but about conscious choice and self-awareness. It invites you to be an active participant in your mental life rather than a passive observer. Through consistent practice, you cultivate a mindset that embraces responsibility and empowers you to navigate life's complexities with greater ease and confidence. Challenges are opportunities for growth. This mindset shift is transformative because it changes how we perceive difficulties and setbacks in our lives. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles that block our path or as reasons for discouragement, viewing them as chances to learn and improve opens the door to resilience and personal development. When you tell yourself this every morning, you prepare your brain to interpret stress and struggle not as threats, but as stimuli that can enhance your capacity, skills, and character. From a neuroscientific perspective, the brain's response to challenge is highly adaptable. When you encounter a difficult situation, your nervous system reacts with a stress response designed to help you cope. While acute stress can enhance focus and alertness, chronic or overwhelming stress can be damaging. However, the way you interpret the stress determines its effect on your brain and body. Research in psychology has demonstrated that individuals who view stress as a challenge rather than a threat experience less harmful physiological effects and perform better under pressure. This phenomenon is often called stress reappraisal. By affirming that challenges are opportunities, you engage this adaptive mindset that promotes healthier stress responses and improved performance. Challenges also stimulate neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. When you face a new or difficult task, your brain actively works to learn new skills, strategies, or ways of thinking. This process strengthens neural pathways and expands your cognitive and emotional repertoire. Essentially, each challenge you overcome is like a workout for your brain, increasing its capacity to handle complexity and uncertainty in the future. Embracing challenges as growth opportunities aligns with this natural learning process, encouraging persistence and curiosity rather than avoidance or fear. This perspective fosters a growth mindset, a concept popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you see challenges as chances to grow, you reinforce this mindset by focusing on the process of improvement rather than fixed traits or outcomes. This approach motivates you to seek feedback, experiment with new solutions, and embrace mistakes as valuable lessons. It cultivates resilience by making setbacks part of the journey rather than endpoints. Adopting the view that challenges are opportunities also promotes emotional resilience. Difficulties often evoke strong emotions like frustration, fear, or disappointment. When you reframe these experiences as growth opportunities, you create psychological distance that allows you to regulate your emotions more effectively. Instead of being overwhelmed, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for executive function and emotional regulation, to assess the situation more objectively and choose adaptive responses. This emotional regulation is key to maintaining motivation and avoiding burnout when facing ongoing challenges. On a practical level, this mindset encourages proactive problem solving. When you perceive a challenge as an opportunity, you are more likely to approach it with curiosity and creativity. This leads to exploring multiple strategies, gathering information, and seeking support, which increase the likelihood of finding effective solutions. The confidence that growth is possible fuels persistence even when progress is slow or setbacks occur. This persistent effort is essential because meaningful growth rarely happens overnight. It requires sustained engagement and patience. Challenges often reveal hidden strengths and resources. When you push through adversity, you may discover abilities or qualities you were previously unaware of, such as resilience, patience, or innovative thinking. Recognizing these internal assets builds self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed, which further enhances your capacity to tackle future challenges. Each growth experience adds to this reservoir of confidence, creating a positive feedback loop of development. This perspective also aligns with the concept of post-traumatic growth, which refers to positive psychological change experienced as a result of struggling with highly challenging life circumstances. People who find meaning and growth in adversity often report deeper self-awareness, improved relationships, and a greater appreciation for life. While not every challenge will lead to dramatic transformation, the potential for growth exists in every difficult moment if you choose to engage with it constructively. By reminding yourself that challenges are opportunities for growth each morning, you prime your brain to approach the day's difficulties with a proactive and open mindset. This cognitive framing influences how you allocate your attention, how you manage emotions, and how you mobilize effort. It encourages you to seek learning and improvement rather than avoidance, which over time builds resilience, skills, and confidence that contribute to long-term success and well-being. I will focus on what I can control. This statement is a powerful grounding practice that helps anchor your mind in reality and reduces unnecessary stress. When you wake up each morning and affirm your intention to focus on what is within your control, you are setting a clear psychological boundary between what you can influence and what lies beyond your influence. This distinction is critical because it helps prevent mental overload and emotional turmoil caused by ruminating on factors that are uncontrollable, such as other people's actions, past events, or unpredictable circumstances. Our brains have a natural tendency to attempt to solve problems or control situations, sometimes even those that are inherently uncontrollable. This can lead to frustration, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness. However, when you deliberately focus on what you can control, you activate a more effective mental strategy that leverages your energy and attention where it matters most. Neuroscience tells us that this kind of focused attention enhances the function of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and self-regulation. When this region is actively engaged, you are better able to organize your thoughts, prioritize actions, and maintain emotional balance. Focusing on what you can control means directing your energy toward your own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and choices. These internal domains are where you have the greatest capacity to affect change. For example, you can choose how to respond to a challenging situation, regulate your emotional reactions, and decide which actions to take to move toward your goals. This focus empowers you to act with intention rather than be swept away by external chaos or distractions. It creates a sense of agency and responsibility that fuels motivation and persistence. In contrast, dwelling on what you cannot control, like other people's opinions, global events, or random setbacks, often leads to cognitive and emotional exhaustion. When your brain gets stuck in rumination or worry about these uncontrollable factors, it triggers the amygdala, the brain's center for fear and stress responses. This can result in increased cortisol levels, which impair cognitive function and exacerbate feelings of anxiety. By choosing to focus on what you can control, you help calm the amygdala and reduce stress, enabling clearer thinking and better problem solving. This focus also aligns with principles found in Stoic philosophy and modern psychology, both of which emphasize the importance of distinguishing between controllable and uncontrollable elements in life. The Stoics taught that peace of mind comes from accepting what cannot be changed and dedicating effort only to what you can influence. Modern therapeutic approaches, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, reinforce this by helping individuals shift their focus away from uncontrollable worries toward practical, manageable actions. Focusing on what you can control enhances your emotional resilience. When challenges arise, maintaining this focus helps you avoid feeling overwhelmed or victimized by circumstances. Instead, it encourages a proactive stance where you seek solutions and adapt as needed. This adaptive mindset enables you to recover more quickly from setbacks and maintain a steady course toward your objectives. On a practical level, this focus improves productivity and decision-making. When you concentrate on controllable factors, you can allocate your time and resources efficiently, set realistic goals, and develop actionable plans. This targeted approach minimizes wasted effort and maximizes the impact of your actions. It also encourages mindful awareness, helping you notice when your thoughts drift toward unproductive worries so you can gently bring your attention back to what matters. Focusing on what you can control strengthens your sense of personal power. When you recognize that your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are within your influence, you develop confidence in your ability to shape your experience and outcomes. This confidence fuels self-efficacy, which is the belief in your capacity to achieve goals through your actions. Higher self-efficacy is linked to greater perseverance, better stress management, and increased overall well-being. This mindset also cultivates acceptance and reduces resistance to reality. Accepting that some things are outside your control does not mean passivity. Rather, it means channeling your energy effectively while remaining flexible and open to change. This acceptance fosters psychological flexibility, which is the ability to adapt to fluctuating circumstances without losing your core values or purpose. By beginning each day with the intention to focus on what you can control, you prime your brain to operate from a place of clarity and groundedness. This intention sets the tone for how you perceive and respond to the world, helping you conserve mental and emotional energy while enhancing your capacity, your complexity with calm and effectiveness. It becomes a daily mental habit that supports sustained growth, resilience, and well-being. My effort today shapes my future. This affirmation reminds us of a fundamental truth: the actions and energy we invest in the present moment directly influence the trajectory of our lives. Every choice, every small step, and every ounce of effort compounds over time to build the foundation of our future success, well-being, and fulfillment. By internalizing this concept each morning, you prime your mind to approach the day with purpose and determination, understanding that what you do now matters deeply. The brain operates on principles of learning and reinforcement. When you put in effort consistently, you are essentially training your neural circuits to become stronger and more efficient. This process, known as neuroplasticity, allows your brain to adapt and grow through repeated practice and experience. Whether you're learning a new skill, improving your emotional regulation, or cultivating healthier habits, your consistent effort lays down the neural pathways that make these changes sustainable. Each moment of focused effort creates incremental progress, which accumulates to create significant transformation over days, weeks, months, and years. This perspective also connects deeply with the concept of delayed gratification, the ability to resist immediate rewards in favor of long-term gains. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort, which often tempts us to choose short-term ease over long-term benefit. However, by reminding yourself that your effort today shapes your future, you encourage a mindset that values persistence and patience. This helps activate your prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for executive function and self-control, allowing you to override impulsive urges and stay committed to meaningful goals. Understanding the link between present effort and future outcome also fosters a sense of personal agency. Instead of feeling like a passive recipient of circumstance or luck, you recognize that your consistent work and dedication play a vital role in shaping what lies ahead. This sense of control boosts motivation and resilience, especially during difficult times when immediate results may not be visible. The knowledge that every small action matters encourages you to keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow or obstacles arise. Moreover, this mindset helps break down overwhelming goals into manageable daily tasks. Big ambitions can often feel daunting, leading to procrastination or discouragement. But when you focus on the effort you put in each day, you create a sustainable rhythm of action. This approach emphasizes process over outcome, allowing you to celebrate daily wins and maintain momentum. Over time, these small efforts aggregate into meaningful accomplishments, reinforcing the belief that consistent work yields powerful results. The connection between effort and future also aligns with cyclical theories of motivation, such as self-determination theory, which emphasizes the importance of competence, autonomy, and relatedness in fostering intrinsic motivation. When you see your daily effort as instrumental to future success, you are more likely to feel competent and autonomous, which enhances your internal drive. This intrinsic motivation is more sustainable and fulfilling than external rewards alone because it is rooted in your own values and goals. On a physiological level, consistent effort activates reward systems in the brain. Each time you take purposeful action toward your goals, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with motivation and pleasure. This neurochemical feedback loop reinforces effortful behavior, making it more likely that you will continue to engage in productive activities. Over time, this cycle builds habits that support your long-term vision. This affirmation also encourages a mindset of responsibility and accountability. Recognizing that your effort today shapes your future means accepting ownership of your progress and setbacks. It pushes you to reflect honestly on how you are investing your time and energy, fostering a proactive stance rather than a reactive one. This accountability can lead to more deliberate decision-making and greater alignment between your actions and your aspirations. Additionally, this focus on effort rather than outcome helps cultivate resilience. Not every effort results in immediate success, and setbacks are inevitable. However, by valuing the effort itself, you maintain motivation even when results are delayed or uncertain. This perspective encourages you to view failures as part of the learning process rather than as definitive judgments on your abilities or worth. By starting each day with the affirmation, "My effort today shapes my future," you prime your brain to engage fully with the present moment while keeping a clear vision of your goals. This alignment between action and purpose strengthens your ability to stay disciplined, motivated, and focused. It also nurtures a growth-oriented mindset that embraces challenges and perseveres through obstacles, knowing that each step forward contributes to a better tomorrow. I choose to release what I cannot change. This statement is a profound act of mental and emotional liberation. Each morning, affirming your willingness to let go of what lies beyond your control allows you to create psychological space for peace, clarity, and effective action. Holding on to things that cannot be changed, whether they are past mistakes, other people's behaviors, or uncontrollable external events, can drain your mental energy, generate stress, and cloud your judgment. By consciously choosing to release these burdens, you align your mind with acceptance and focus, empowering yourself to engage with life more effectively. From a neuroscientific perspective, clinging to uncontrollable factors activates the brain's threat response, primarily involving the amygdala, which triggers feelings of fear, anxiety, and frustration. This heightened emotional state can impair the functioning of the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for reasoning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. When the prefrontal cortex is compromised, you are more likely to experience cognitive rigidity, impulsivity, and emotional reactivity. By choosing to release what you cannot change, you essentially help deactivate the amygdala's threat alarm and restore balance to your brain's executive functions, fostering clearer thinking and calmer responses. The practice of releasing uncontrollable elements is deeply rooted in mindfulness and acceptance-based philosophies. Mindfulness teaches us to observe thoughts and feelings without attachment or judgment, recognizing their transient nature. Acceptance, on the other hand, invites us to acknowledge reality as it is without resistance or denial. When you combine these approaches in the affirmation to release what you cannot change, you cultivate a mental state that embraces the present moment fully and without unnecessary struggle. This acceptance reduces the mental clutter of unproductive worries and frees up cognitive resources for constructive action. Letting go of uncontrollable factors also supports emotional resilience. Life inevitably presents situations that are beyond your influence, other people's choices, unexpected events, or outcomes influenced by chance. When you resist these realities, you may become stuck in cycles of rumination, blame, or resentment, which prolong distress and undermine your well-being. By consciously releasing these concerns, you break these cycles and create space to recover, adapt, and focus on what can be changed. This emotional resilience enables you to bounce back more quickly from adversity and maintain psychological equilibrium. This mindset shift encourages a focus on internal locus of control, the belief that your outcomes are primarily determined by your own actions rather than external forces. Research shows that individuals with a strong internal locus of control tend to experience higher levels of motivation, better stress management, and greater life satisfaction. Choosing to release what you cannot change enhances this internal locus by redirecting your attention and energy toward aspects of your life where you can exert influence, such as your attitudes, behaviors, and decisions. Practically speaking, releasing what cannot be changed improves your decision-making and problem-solving abilities. When your mind is free from fixation on uncontrollable variables, you can assess situations more objectively, identify actionable steps, and make more rational choices. This clarity helps prevent decision fatigue and enhances your capacity to prioritize effectively, leading to better outcomes in both personal and professional domains. This practice nurtures compassion toward yourself and others, recognizing that everyone faces limitations and uncontrollable circumstances fosters empathy and reduces harsh judgments. It allows you to treat yourself with kindness when things do not go as planned and to extend understanding to others who may be acting under pressures beyond their control. This compassionate perspective enriches your relationships and supports emotional well-being. Letting go also aligns with the wisdom found in various philosophical and spiritual traditions. For example, the Serenity Prayer encourages acceptance of things that cannot be changed, courage to change what can be changed, and wisdom to know the difference. This triad serves as a practical guide for emotional balance and effective living. By incorporating this principle into your daily mindset, you anchor yourself in a time-tested framework that promotes peace and purposeful action. On a deeper level, choosing to release what you cannot change is an exercise in trust in yourself to handle whatever comes, trust in the unfolding of life's processes, and trust in a larger order or purpose beyond immediate control. This trust reduces anxiety about uncertainty and cultivates a sense of calm surrender that paradoxically increases your capacity to act with clarity and strength. By beginning each day with the intention to release what you cannot change, you establish a mental habit that supports resilience, focus, and emotional well-being. This practice helps you conserve energy for meaningful challenges and fosters a mindset that is adaptive, compassionate, and grounded in reality. It encourages a balanced engagement with life, where acceptance and action coexist, enabling you to navigate complexity with greater ease and confidence. I will nurture my mind with positive thoughts. The mind is a powerful engine that drives our emotions, behaviors, and overall experience of life. What we consistently feed into our minds, our thoughts, beliefs, and internal dialogue shapes not only how we see ourselves, but also how we interact with the world. By consciously choosing to nurture your mind with positive thoughts every morning, you set the stage for a day filled with optimism, resilience, and constructive action. This practice influences your brain chemistry, cognitive patterns, and emotional states in profound ways. Neuroscience reveals that the brain is highly plastic and responsive to the nature of the thoughts we cultivate. When you engage in positive thinking, you activate neural circuits associated with reward, motivation, and well-being. These circuits release neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which elevate mood and foster feelings of happiness and contentment. Conversely, negative or self-defeating thoughts can trigger the brain's stress response, elevating cortisol levels and impairing cognitive function. Therefore, nurturing your mind with positivity essentially rewires your brain for enhanced emotional regulation, improved focus, and greater psychological resilience. Positive thoughts also serve as a powerful cognitive filter, shaping the way you interpret and respond to events throughout the day. When your mind is filled with constructive, hopeful, and encouraging messages, you are more likely to perceive challenges as opportunities rather than threats. This shift in perspective activates the prefrontal cortex, which supports problem solving, flexible thinking, and adaptive behavior. By fostering this mindset, you become more adept at managing stress, making decisions, and maintaining motivation even in difficult circumstances. The habitual cultivation of positive thoughts creates a feedback loop that strengthens self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to influence outcomes and achieve goals. When you tell yourself affirming things like "I am capable," "I can handle whatever comes," or "I deserve success," you reinforce an internal narrative that empowers action and perseverance. This self-efficacy is crucial for sustained effort and resilience, as it buffers against feelings of helplessness and discouragement that can derail progress. Nurturing your mind with positivity also impacts your social interactions and relationships. A positive mental state enhances your capacity for empathy, patience, and effective communication. When you carry an optimistic outlook, you are more approachable, supportive, and able to build meaningful connections with others. This social reinforcement further strengthens your positive mindset, creating a virtuous cycle that benefits both your personal and professional life. Positive thinking supports physical health. Studies have shown that individuals with a positive outlook tend to have stronger immune function, lower rates of cardiovascular disease, and better overall health outcomes. This is partly because positive thoughts reduce stress hormones and promote relaxation, which in turn lowers inflammation and supports bodily systems. By nurturing your mind positively each morning, you are not only enhancing mental well-being but also contributing to your physical vitality. On a practical level, cultivating positive thoughts requires intention and practice. It involves consciously noticing negative or limiting thoughts and gently redirecting your focus toward affirming and empowering ones. This might include repeating daily affirmations, visualizing successful outcomes, or recalling moments of gratitude and achievement. Over time, these practices help recondition your habitual thought patterns, making positivity a default mode rather than a forced effort. The process of nurturing your mind positively also fosters mindfulness and present moment awareness. When you deliberately choose your thoughts, you increase your metacognitive awareness, your ability to observe your thinking processes without being overwhelmed by them. This awareness creates space for conscious choice rather than automatic reaction, enabling you to steer your mental landscape in a direction that supports your goals and well-being. Positive thinking nurtures hope, which is a critical psychological resource. Hope energizes your motivation, helping you persist through obstacles and setbacks. It expands your vision of what is possible and fuels creativity and problem solving. By feeding your mind with hopeful and positive thoughts every morning, you maintain a future-oriented mindset that keeps you moving forward with confidence and enthusiasm. This intentional nurturing of your mind also aligns with the principles of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which emphasizes the interplay between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. CBT techniques teach that by changing your thinking patterns, you can influence how you feel and act. This insight underscores the transformative power of the morning ritual of positive self-talk and mental nurturing. By committing to nurture your mind with positive thoughts each morning, you lay a foundation for sustained psychological strength, emotional balance, and purposeful action throughout the day. This practice not only shapes your internal experience, but also radiates outward, influencing your relationships, decisions, and overall quality of life. It becomes a critical element in building a resilient, fulfilled, and empowered self.